Okay, looks like Ian has disconnected.
Yeah.
Welcome
Hey,
to the Ice
there he
Guys,
is.
presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. It is Friday, June the 10th. There we go. We're on. I forgot to add myself onto the screen, which
We were
that's
ready to do
never
the
happened.
intro without you.
Yeah, we're here, including the host, Ian Cameron, on a Friday, June the 10th. We're here even though there's no games tonight, but we're still going to have a great show for you. Alex B. Smith, the birthday boy, is back. Vito for a special Friday appearance on the Ice Guys, and Ray Bryce, who's been on a couple of our betcasts, who's been on our daily show once before, is back with us again today. And we brought on Vito, and I extended an invite to Vito today on the show because we found out something pretty damn incredible. Like if there was a bet on the betting board that Vito and Ray would have connections with someone that Ray played with in the past or a couple people, it would be like a 1 in a million shot. That plus the fact Ray finally got to meet Vito on the betcast last night. So it's an unbelievable development. Vito, of course, Latvian. Ray's played with a couple of Vito's current friends from Latvia over here in North America. It's the craziest, damnedest thing, and we found that out last night. Vito, isn't that incredible? The world gets smaller every day.
Well, I would just add, actually, maybe it's not that unbelievable because, well, when I played in Latvia, I played with the best players. We had like a national team. We don't have so much good players, we had one national team, and those players went to play to also to United States. So if Ray is professional, those guys also were professional. So there's a chance that you can meet, because Ray is also born the same age as me, 1995. So it's a big chance that he can meet someone from my buddies.
There you go. So maybe I'm overblowing it a bit too much, but pretty cool
Oh
stuff.
no, it's incredible. I mean, it's incredible. But there is like the small things. He's same age as me, so it adds up that it's possible.
That's right. And plus, he's from Michigan. You're rocking the Red Wings hat. You
Yeah.
like the Red Wings growing up, right, Vito? Is that right?
Well, I still like them. I mean, they're not so competitive. Like Alex like Blackhawks. I like Red Wings. I stay with my team. I'm
Mine is
not like
Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I'm not jumping on different teams.
Yeah.
No, that's good. You stand by the Red Wings. Yeah, they've sucked the last few years, but there's lots of building blocks in place right now. Starting with Mo Sider. I mean, that guy's going to be phenomenal for many years on that blue line. Ray, you've been a betcast warrior. You've been you're in the terms of the highest volume of wagers placed on the betcast. I think you've probably placed more bets on the betcast in 2 betcasts than I have in all the betcasts we've done this season. So credit to you for that, Ray.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And honestly, that first game that I was on the betcast, like it was a shootout. It was a football game out there. They were scoring every 10 seconds, it seemed like. So that was pretty easy. Last night we weren't as fortunate. I only ended up losing $13, which isn't too bad for a game that we actually picked the Rangers to win in. So the nice hit for me was highest scoring period to be a tie, 1-1 in the second, and then 2-0 total goals scored in the third by Tampa. So nice little payout there to kind of hedge myself, even though Ian says hedgers is for gardening. But hey,
that was a good
it.
hedge. Yeah, it was a good hedge. Yeah, you bet that exact 2 goals result in the third period. That was a really good call, and that's exactly what we saw. Exactly 2 goals in the third period. And thanks to everyone who tuned in on the betcast, everyone that joined us. Ray was on it, Vito was on it, Joe Madden. She did a great job on the betcast for the friend. Joe Madden will be on next Thursday, by the way, on our daily show here on the Ice Guys. So looking forward to that. We've Jake Wilson was on the betcast last night. And I missed putting Cheshire Cat and occupancy on our betcast. They DM'd me during the betcast saying, we want to be on the bet. And I never even fucking looked at the DMs. So I apologize for that. Should add even more people on the betcast, but I'm an idiot. I didn't check the DMs during the betcast. So next time we'll get you on, and our next betcast will be during the Stanley Cup final for sure, whenever it starts. Let's welcome back the birthday boy, Alex B. Smith. His birthday a couple days ago. We gave him his hangover day yesterday. He wasn't on the daily show. He wasn't on the betcast last night, but he's feeling good, ready to rock on a Friday. Alex, belated happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks everybody who messaged me on Twitter and Facebook and everything, wishing me a happy birthday. It was a really nice time. And you got to lay back a little bit yesterday and watch a good game. And now we've seen, the tide turn. It's just really interesting. Everybody kind of counted Tampa Bay out, myself included. I thought that, the fatigue may have started to finally set in. But New York just kept giving this team chances, and Tampa Bay, they capitalized. And the reason why they've won 2 cups in a row is the game that they played last night. They were able to kind of, like I said, when you're on the road in this kind of series, you're able to take the crowd out of it. You're able to take the team you're playing against out of it. And there was just not a lot of even with the Rangers when they scored that one goal, it wasn't exactly the kind of like rockin' madhouse we had seen earlier in the postseason. Just the air in that crowd was just a little bit different. And Tampa Bay was able to capitalize and to get that goal late. Was the second goal or the third goal we've seen now from Tampa Bay with 5 minutes or less left in regulation this postseason. Those are the little characteristics that define a championship team. And Tampa Bay now one win away from the third straight Prince of Wales Trophy and third straight appearance in a Cup final. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, Florida game 2. Right, the goal by Colton, the beautiful feed from behind the net from Kucherov, 2-1. They final minute goal. Palat earlier in this series, game 3 against the Rangers, last minute goal. Last night, less than 2 minutes to go, they get the seeing eye shot from Sergachev that actually ended up hitting Palat, who got credit for that goal for the game winning goal last night. So you're right, they've got that ability. You think you're going to overtime, and they step up and they score just that big goal. They did that last night. My thoughts on that game were very simple. The Rangers didn't play terribly, but you can't have Ryan Strome missing a wide open net and just basically scuffed it, is what he did. That was a wide open net that if he gets stick on puck, that puck's going in with that chance that he had, and he totally flubbed it. It is what a disappointing. He's going to have nightmares, I said last night, about missing that chance. Philip Hedl missed a redirect that came inches from going in the first period last night. It was missed opportunities. The Rangers did have some golden opportunities and some great looks. They just couldn't finish on any of them, and that ended up being the difference. They played good enough defensively. Shesterkin was fine. There's nothing he could have done about either of the 2 goals that went in. And Tampa Bay just found a way to get one late. And Vasilevsky, outstanding. I mean, point-blank saves in the third period. That great split save that he made, stretching out post to post in the third period was an outstanding. I think Lindgren had that chance, and Lindgren actually only got the only goal for the Rangers last night. But that was the difference, a razor-thin margin, a very close game. Tampa just makes that one extra play late in the game, and now they go home to Tampa with a chance to close the series out in Game 6 Saturday night, up 3-2. So what's going to give the Tampa Bay ability to close out? They're very good in elimination games when a chance to close out a team, but the Rangers have been good facing elimination, 5-0, the New York Rangers in these playoffs when facing elimination. So that'll be put to the test in Game 6 on Saturday night. Vito, your thoughts on the game last night?
Yeah, well, is it a coincidence or how you call it or what? But both players, Hito and Strome, was like not 100% for the game. We only knew that they joined it late. And as I said yesterday, I think that stays in your head. So you are not like fully focused, and you might miss those empty net chances. That's what also happened. And a little bit from Tampa. I mean, I think that was the message in the locker room from John Cooper. That first 10 minutes, first period, Rangers will have the momentum. We just have to keep the puck out of our net, and that's what they did. They ended 0-0 the first period, and that's what also I said in betcast. That was Tampa's job. Rest of the game, they find a way to win. That's what Tampa do. They find a way to win high scoring or low scoring game, and we see they can play both styles. Which they can adjust any time to any kind of a style which they need. And we saw 3-1 victory, which is playoff style hockey. And well, yeah, that's it. I mean, well, yeah, Rangers looked, Panarin looked really dialed in. They looked good. I mean, in the first period, especially. But yeah, as Ian, you said, they have this ability to take out the crowd. I mean, to take out the crowd, MSG, and just like take the game in their hands, and that's what they did. And well, Tampa has won now 3 in a row. That's what I can tell you.
Yeah, it's been impressive to watch for sure. The Tampa Bay Lightning kind of take over this series a little bit the last 3 games. And now it's just a question of, are they going to be able to finish it off Saturday night back home? That's the one thing about the Rangers. They have the warrior heart. They do. You've really got to drive the sword through the chest, if you will, to finish this team off, because they're 5-0 facing elimination this year. They've constantly risen up with their backs against the wall. But here's the issue. This is not Pittsburgh with Louis Domingue. This is not Carolina with Pyotr Kochetkov and Antti Ranta. They came back in those 2 series facing elimination. Now you're facing Tampa Bay, 2-time defending champs. Vasilevsky is back on his game again. Not that he was ever off it, but now he's back and is absolutely dialed in and just at his absolute best. Maybe game 1 he was a little bit shaky, but since then he's been great. That's the totally different challenge for the Rangers now in trying to avoid elimination. Ray, how about you? Thoughts on last night?
Yeah, I thought, like you said, New York didn't play a terrible game by any means. They definitely had their chances. I also will say, in a counter argument, New York Tampa Bay beat Shesterkin twice early, clean, hit 2 posts. So the game could have also got away from them pretty quickly. After that Rangers scored their first goal, though, I thought Tampa had some good shifts. And in the third period, I thought the Rangers kind of faded out, and they didn't play good enough to win. They played okay, and they, like I said, they didn't play good enough to win. I thought Tampa's players showed up. I thought Palat's been great this playoffs. I thought Cirelli was good defensively. I thought there's guys stepping up and filling Braden Point's role. I thought Maroon played a decent game last night. Stamkos was good. So those experienced guys, I thought they stepped up and they know what it takes to win in that locker room. And I think the Rangers are young and have a little bit of inexperience. Where's Panarin been all series? And I haven't seen him on the ice once. Kreider was non-existent last night. A couple of guys.
Zibanejad non-existent. 1 shot on goal. No points.
Exactly.
Yep, nothing.
And he's been good all series. I thought that kids line was Lafreniere, Hedl, and Kakko was okay. They had maybe 2 good shifts that I saw, but at the end of the day, I don't think the Rangers played good enough to win. When you're playing an experienced team and a good goalie like Vasilevsky, obviously had some time off and took him a while to get back in his groove, which was expected, right? When you're playing a team like that, it's going to be tough to beat them if you play like that. You've got to finish your hits and play harder hockey. And I didn't think, their shot totals were pretty even actually through most of the game. But I thought a lot of New York shots came from the perimeter and didn't have any grade A chances. I thought Tampa Bay did a good job on their power play, finding Perry in the slot. They had some good chances and their point shots were pretty good last night. So, like I said, and if you follow along on the betcast last night, I hate New York. I hope they lose game 6 and it's over for them. But, they're also a team that's able to come back and have proven that they can win, but they're not playing a trash can net anymore. So maybe they should suit Ryan Reeves up and have him run Vasilevsky if they want a chance at that one. I think the experience in that locker room is just going to be too good. I will say this though, if it does go back to MSG for Game 7, watch out Tampa Bay. You may have a new Eastern Conference contender in the finals for the last 3 years. A new one. So.
I agree with that. If Tampa lets somehow, I don't think they will. I think they're probably going to win tomorrow night, Tampa. But if somehow they let it slip and it gets back to a Game 7 with the Rangers, even though they won in New York last night, winning in New York again in Game 7 is going to be difficult. And let's not forget, Ryan Strome, wide open net, dubbed the shot, as our great friend Doc Emmerich would say. That's always one of his favorite lines. He dubbed the shot.
Waffle-boarded wide.
Yeah, waffle-board. And dubbed the shot instead of fanned on it. He would say dubbed. I love that one. He dubbed the shot, Ryan Strome. And then, of course, Philip Hedl misses a redirect. I mean, there was a point-blank chance for Zibanejad with his one chance, and it was a stone-cold save by Vasilevsky. He had it in the slot, and he just stopped him. He was terrific. Rangers had their looks. Rangers had their chances, and it just did not go in. And if he goes to Game 7, you can't count on that duplicating itself, that the Rangers are going to miss those golden opportunities that they missed in Game 5 on home ice. And you got to think they're going to get more power plays in Game 7 maybe than last night as well. The one thing they've done is generate, a lot of power play opportunities and draw penalties from Tampa Bay. They didn't do quite as much of that last night. So something to keep in mind if that series goes back to 7. But first things first, they got to find a way to win in Tampa, which is something they have not done yet in this series coming up tomorrow night. Before we get into just an early look, we don't have to lock in bets or opinions just yet. This is just going to be like an early lean type of deal when we talk Game 6 tomorrow night in just a second. Before we get to that, I've got to mention the absolutely disgraceful, heinous incident that happened at the Madison Square Garden last night. And this guy needs to be rotting in a fucking jail cell for this. Absolutely horrendous, despicable. And when I've said multiple times, when I said that people were railing on Brady Tkachuk for attending his brother's playoff game, saying he's got to be focused on the Ottawa Senators. He can't be, showing fandom and support for another team and his brother because he's got to be focused on Ottawa. He shouldn't be doing that, making himself available in public there to cheer on his brother. When that happened, I said on this very show, that is proof that society is utterly fucked right now. All right. It is totally fucked. It's a shit show society with so many people that just don't know what they're doing, don't know what they're talking about, and just they have no care about another human being half the time. And basically, I felt the same way watching that last night, that horrible assault on a Tampa Bay Lightning fan last night. That this is proof again that this society is fucked. Totally unacceptable, deplorable, sickening behavior. An older gentleman was behind a Ranger fan. Maybe he said something that he was ribbing him, saying, "Hey, you're going home for the season after game." I don't know what the older gentleman said to the fan in front of him, but whatever he said, that does not give you a free pass and a carte blanche to just sucker punch and cold cock a guy the way he did. And he really got him good. He did. If you see the video, he's out cold even before he hits the ground. And his head might have connected. He looked like it was really, really scary the very moment he hit the ground. And I will say this, that guy, and Alex said before the show, and I didn't know this until Alex said it, he apparently punched someone else when he was going down the hallway there at Madison Square Garden, and he assaulted another Lightning fan down the hallway later on that was not caught on camera. So this guy obviously needs to be punished for it, serve some jail time, be banned from Madison Square Garden, which apparently the New York Rangers and Madison Square Garden have already banned him for life from attending this building, which is the right call. And I am comforted, as much as I said society's fucked, I am comforted to see that there were people in Rangers gear tending to that fan that got punched out, lying on the ground motionless there. There were people tending him, making sure, they get help, first aid, medical staff on site to tend to him. But there's no place in that at any sporting event for that bullshit. There's none, zero. I hate to see it. We can't even go to a sporting event now and feel safe to cheer for our team on the road. Like if you're a fan of a team now, you see some shit like that happen. You're like, how do I go on the road to cheer on my team when they're playing on the road and feel safe, and feel comfortable when you got some absolute, sociopath, psychotic like that, just reeling back and, punching you when you least expect it, sucker punch, because that's the definition of a sucker punch. You don't expect it. You're not ready for it. Yeah. And there's no doubt that was the case last night. Absolutely horrendous, sickening stuff. I hate to see it. And I hope that guy gets what he's got coming to him. Simple as that. Awful stuff.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting you mentioned that about, seeing games on the road. And as someone who's traveled, places, I mean, I live here in Minnesota. One of the first times I ever came here was, I've told the story before, it was 2008. It's literally the same day where the White Sox and Twins are playing, they called it the blackout game, but it was the AL Central tiebreaker. And I was here, instead of being in Chicago, I was actually in a Wild and Blackhawks preseason game. And I went to the game, wore my Hawks jersey, actually had my Sox jersey underneath it, and wore my White Sox hat. Sox won the game 1-0. I go and take off my Hawks jersey and have on my Sox jersey underneath. And, there's people booing. I got, some napkins and some, empty cups thrown at me. That was about the least that happened. But I couldn't have done that if I was a Twins fan or a Wild fan in Chicago. I couldn't have done that in Philadelphia. I think about yesterday was the anniversary of the Hawks winning the 2010 Stanley Cup final in Philadelphia. And I remember telling people on a message board that I was part of, be careful when you travel to Philly wearing your Hawks stuff, because Philly fans are notorious for attacking other fans. When the Vikings played the NFC title game, they were throwing full cans of beer at people, anybody who was wearing Viking stuff in the parking lot before the game. It's very unfortunate, and there's a lot of places where this is noted behavior that has happened. And even with fights, you see fights happen in games. Listen, I'm no saint. In my younger days, I've gotten into a few scuffles, but they were fights. This wasn't a fight. Yeah. This guy just got assaulted and sucker punched. This is a whole different thing. You see a group of people getting drunk and they're going after each other. That's one thing. And yes, it's still unnecessary as far as it goes in the world of sports, except people just trying to have a good time and root for their teams. But to see something like this happen, and like I said, the guy, he hauled off and sucker punched the one guy who was out cold. And then later on, you don't see in that video clip. Apparently, they said he ran down toward the entrance. Somebody tried to catch him because literally, I mean, there's thousands of people that witnessed it, and they're trying to grab the guy, detain him, and he ends up getting into another fight. So he gets charged with 2 counts of assault, 2 counts of harassment, and another couple of counts as well. And it's just awful to see, and you see it more and more. And a lot of people are saying that, is it because we were all bottled in for 2 years and stuff, and now people don't know how to act when they get back out in public? Maybe that's something to it, but this has been going on in sports for a long time, all over the world. Look no further than England with some of the incidents they've had over the last century almost, with some of the riots and different things you see. It's just an unfortunate part of sports. It's something that really shouldn't be a thing. And especially when you just see just a simple assault like this, it's strictly criminal.
It is. It's a criminal act. It is something that you should have they should throw your ass right out of the arena for life, which they've done, and right in a jail cell. Simple as that. It's assault. It's unprovoked, and it's you can't have it. It's unacceptable for that to happen in our society. And you're right. A fight is different. 2 guys obliged to say, "I'm going to fight you. You're going to throw a punch," and you're looking at the guy. That's different. It's a fight. Right. And it's mano a mano, in that situation. This guy didn't even have a chance to defend himself or protect himself. The guy just turns around and wham, punches him. There's just nothing he can do in that situation. I mean, Ray already hates the Rangers, so this is just more fuel to the fire that a Rangers fan acts like a complete and utter asshole like this, right?
What did I say last night? Their fans are the worst fans in hockey.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that too lately, and then people always give crap about New York fans in general, but specifically Rangers. I've heard a lot of people saying that more in this last year than I have probably in a while. And they said there's other fan bases that are bad, but that one clearly
it's a case by case basis. Obviously,
Sure.
I know some Rangers fans that are great people.
A lot of good fans, but there's a lot of bad seeds too.
But there's 10% of fans that make collectively ruin it for the rest of them.
Right.
I mean, I have 500 followers on Twitter, and I haven't received any hate, for my picks. Never. Only one time, and from Rangers fan betting against the Rangers. If you need to write a script while you bet against their team, because their team is the best always, and if you bet against them, you are clown.
Yeah. That's what they say. Yeah. That's what they say. Well, the joke's on them last night. Because if you bet against the Rangers last night, you did quite well.
Now I have noticed people already are telling that they want to see Gallant gone. I saw some tweeters.
Unbelievable.
Really?
Unbelievable.
That's what we're saying after last night in an even fucking hockey game where they had a million chances. Look, do you want Gallant to get a stick, get some skates on, go on the ice, and try to finish a Ryan Strome chance there? Or what Heedle had in the first period? Yeah, Gallant's should help us out and put the puck in the net for us. He can't do that. That's Players have to do that. What an absolutely moronic, idiotic take to have. With the season they've had, the guy that's up for the Jack Adams coach, very ironic that people are criticizing him a year he's up for the Jack Adams, that we have certain Jack asses making a comment and a tweet like that we've got to can Gerard Gallant now and get rid of him. You don't even fucking know how good you have it that Gerard Gallant is your head coach. You want to be Vegas? They urinated on Gallant and got rid of him when it wasn't necessary, in my opinion. You want to be Florida, who are complete fucking jerk-offs, with the way they treated him off going out the door and leaving him, to fend for his own taxi while they took off on the private jet or the first-class plane or whatever the fuck they had to go to their next game, and they just let Gallant standing there like a chump to get a taxi. I mean, spare me. That Gerard Gallant is the issue here. That's the most stupid thing I think I've heard. I never saw this, and that's why I didn't comment. If I had seen this shit, I would have commented on it. You guys don't know how good you have it.
They can't have overreacting. They can't have a coach act like that. They can't support this. So I guess they didn't like how he acts, something like that. I mean, I don't know. But you will always have these guys, There will be always these guys, which will tell something, It's series is not even done. I mean, this is the most funniest thing.
And you're playing the 2-time defending champs. Yeah. You're down 3-2 in the series. You could have won the game last night, but get rid of the coach. He's not doing a good enough job. I can't. Society fucked. Society fucked. Yep. I've said it. That's another one right there. What a fuck take to have. Seriously.
That's crazy.
Really? Yeah. He's the problem? He's the issue?
I actually hope now they win it, and so we can go and find that tweet and say it. Do you still want to fire him?
Yeah. Stanley Cup Finals bound coach if they come back and win in 7. Yeah, you want to get rid of him now? You want to send him his pink slip?
And that would also make him I think the first coach they said in 40 or 50 years to take 2 teams to the Stanley Cup Final in their first year with the team.
Yeah.
But I also have heard some stat. I think that the teams which win actually Stanley Cup, most of the times this is for the coaches the first year. I know that Cooper has been like long for the Tampa, but most of the times, coaches like for the first or second year when they win. For example, like Blues with Berube and stuff like that.
Yeah, but to leave another team and do it to do it twice with 2 different teams, I think that'll be the first time, and I think they said 40 years, 40 or 50 years.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how this series plays out, but Gallant's not the issue. Look, Gallant's intense. Gallant will rip on the refs during the game. There is times he does that too much, even for my liking, that he's hard on the refs. But the one time last night, it was justified. That one penalty they called on the Rangers was pathetic. It was a horrible call. I have no argument with him being upset. And he sometimes will, chirp at other players. But usually the player provokes Gallant to do it, not the other way around. And maybe that rubs people the wrong way, that they don't like the way he acts in that regard. But he's an intense son of a bitch. He always has been, going back to when he played for Detroit. Nobody laid a fucking paw on Stevie Yzerman, all right, back in the late 80s and early 90s with Gerard Gallant around. And that guy was not quite the size. And was he a premier fighter? No, but he would just fucking go through hell and back to defend his teammates, and especially Stevie back in the day, Steve Yzerman. And he dropped the gloves on a moment's notice, and he'd defend, his teammates to the end of the degree, a tough as nails player. And he had some skill to him too. Let's not forget that, Gallant. So that's his personality. He's intense. And obviously people don't like that for some reason. I like that. I like that there's a coach that's intense and into it and is trying to get the most out of his team. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
I think just like perfect for Madison Square Garden. I think he's perfect for that, for that area, for that arena. I mean, blaming the refs, because refs will always respect him in a home arena.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Game 6 now, we'll turn our attention to that just briefly. This is going to be like early leans, really. I don't really have anything locked in yet, but Rangers Lightning minus 180. We'll get into this more tomorrow. We will have a Saturday show with Vito and I tomorrow. Minus 180 for Tampa Bay. The total 5.5 here in this one. Tampa Bay leading the series 3-2. I'm going to stay off the side because I'm undecided right now. I think if I had to, I'd lean Tampa. I think they're probably going to wrap it up here at home. I don't know if I've seen enough from the Rangers on the road other than Game 7 in Carolina to be able to trust, especially when we're seeing the Lightning, Vasilevsky playing great. They're starting to take away Kreider and Zibanejad a little bit the last few games. That's worrisome if I'm the Rangers. And again, on the road, we haven't necessarily seen enough from them. So, but again, you're talking minus 180 with the money line here on Tampa Bay against a team that's a perfect 5-0 facing elimination this year. What's one thing about the Rangers? They have battled their asses off when their backs are against the wall. Now, like I said, Tampa ain't Carolina with Kochetkov and Ranta. Tampa Bay ain't Pittsburgh with Louis Domingue in net. This is a totally different challenge for the Rangers to stay alive this time compared to the first 2 rounds. But their grit and their resilience and their battle level can't be underestimated here in this game. And, you got to lay a price here with Tampa. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the side, but I'm going to take a shot with the over here. I'm coming back to it's 5 at our sponsor book, DraftKings. They actually have this total over 5 minus 130 right now at DraftKings. It's an elimination game. With a total of 5, you could get shenanigans in the third period. And I do like the third period over. You already know I'll be on that for sure. In Game 6, we'll see. It'll probably be 2 or something when it comes out. We'll confirm that on tomorrow's show. But that's what I'm looking at just right now. Initial leans are the overs. Full game over, and specifically the third period over, which, again, has been very good for the long term the last few years in elimination games. Alex, just initial thoughts. Game 6 tomorrow night.
No, I've already bet this. I bet the puck line. I laid 1.5 plus 160 with Tampa Bay. Like I said, they're going home. They've won 3 in a row. They've seemed to have their momentum back. We know how the Rangers, like I said, haven't been doing that well on the road overall this postseason. Their success was coming from home, and so now to drop one at home and have that momentum shifting back to Tampa Bay's way. We know how they play in closeout games, especially Vasilevsky. This just seems like it's going to be a lightning spot. It'll be a game tight, probably another 3-1 or 4-2 kind of game. But I like Tampa to close it out, and I like them on the puck line. So I've already taken that. And like I said, I'm going to wait see what the third period over numbers are. I don't think we're going to see a 2.5 like we have with some of the Colorado closeouts. We've been seeing mostly 2s because it's been a low-scoring series. I think right now I'm seeing 2 plus 105 at BetMGM. So that's something I'm more than likely will be taking. Anything plus money or even laying $1.05 or $1.10, I'll be going with that third period. Over at 2.
Yeah, how good. You know what? I just thought of that now, and Alex reminded me it's true. This track record of Andrei Vasilevsky in a closeout game and a chance to eliminate the opponent in a playoff series has been spectacular. What did he do in the closeout game against Florida? He shut them out. What did he do in the closeout game 7 against Toronto in the first round? 1 goal allowed. That was it. And I think a lot of 0s and 1s, right? I think we've mentioned that before, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing but 0s and 1s in terms of goals allowed by Andrei Vasilevsky with a chance to eliminate the opponent in recent playoff games. That's a track record of utter brilliance and dominance, in these kind of spots. So that's another thing the Rangers are going to have to overcome. What do you think here, Vito? Initial thoughts for Saturday night, Game 6?
Yeah, well, that stat about Vasilevsky also, I'm aware of that one, and that's an amazing stat. I mean, and it already goes for 2 or 3 years. I mean, that stat, he always in closeout games. I think if you can maybe find, I think what's the record for the closeout games? I think he's I think only 1 or 2, 1 lose, I think, 1 lost game or something like that. Well, basically amazing stats. But again, for the Rangers now, it's gonna be do or die situation for real, because now at home everybody was saying do or die, but is it do or die if it's not in your last game? It's not really do or die, right? So now they're going to go to Tampa. That's going to be a do-or-die situation for them. Igor also been phenomenal in Game 7. So, Vasilevsky has the experience over the Igor, So that's what the edge, But goalies are goalies. I mean, man, if Igor now steps up his game, I mean, unbelievably great, and also allows only 1 goal now on the road. I mean, Rangers can steal that. There is a possibility. I can see the Rangers stealing that in OT somehow, There's always a possibility. I mean, this is hockey. So I wouldn't be 100% sure in Tampa, but about the over, it's now I look, it's at 5, So 5, I can see this ending 2-2, for example, also, So I would bet under actually 5.5 if it moves, to the over. I would go with under. I don't even with being a closeout game, I don't think this will be the game. Of course, if it's like 3, well, it will be the same situation. Some team maybe will be up 3-1, and then they're gonna again pull the goalie. It's gonna be 4-1, and well, if then you pull the goalie, you might lose the over or the under, So, but I don't see this game being more than 5 goals. Yeah, so that would be. I will be in the show yesterday, so I will put up my mind, Of course, well, Tampa Bay is the obvious play, and everybody will play Tampa Bay. But again, this is playoffs. Playoffs are a different breed. So we will see what happens. I will see when I come up with, it's hard now to tell.
Yep.
Need to check.
It's because of the price where it is, minus 180, right? It's like
it's
not a
regulation minus 125. So that's I guess the way to go, or the puck line as Alex go. That's if you want to bet Lightning. That's the way to go with them, because they're the better team in this situation. But yeah, everything can happen. I mean, I only know that if Igor plays amazing, then something can happen. If Igor plays bad, this will be 3 goals from Tampa in this game, definitely.
Yeah, and I agree with Alex's thought with Tampa. If you like Tampa, just go puck line. Just go puck line because minus 1.5 is a better price. You could get the empty net for extended minutes.
You saw the empty net after 3-1. You saw the empty net come into play. We almost saw another goal late last night. So obviously this is an elimination spot. You're going to have those empty net chances. Tampa Bay has probably done better than most teams as far as getting empty net goals during the postseason and even during the regular season. So that's the only I wouldn't talk anyone out of going regulation, but like I said, I'd rather have the plus price, and I feel comfortable enough with Vasilevsky in that. I just don't think Igor is going to, step up and play as well or better than Vasilevsky. So Vasilevsky in closeout games, 7-0 last 7. 6 of those were shutouts, and then the 1 goal given up against Toronto. So Igor's going to have to turn in a hell of a performance to try to beat out Vasilevsky. This is usually his moment to shine. So we always talked about the whole thing off of a loss, but he's even better, it seems, in these closeout spots.
Yeah, and that's a change. And you're right; it's been nothing but 0s and 1s, and I think one start where he maybe gave up 2 in an elimination or a chance to finish off an opponent.
Like a couple years ago,
last 2-3 years. I mean, he's just been absolutely beyond amazing, in these kind of situations. The more I think about it too, with Vasilevsky's track record in these games, I'm getting cold feet on the full game over. I might just, if I'm going to look at an over, I'm going to target the third period even more. That would be the time to jump on it, because it's probably, again, especially if the Rangers are trailing, they got to open up the game. They're facing elimination, no tomorrow. So it might be more that I focus toward the third period over rather than the full game, knowing how great Vasilevsky's been in these situations. All right, Ray, what do you think initially here? Game 6 tomorrow night.
My initial lean is Tampa Bay. I think that they got too much experience and whatnot to close out, although I don't like the price. The Rangers somehow have a 4-leaf clover up their fucking ass. So I could see him stealing one, like Vito said. I could see it. I really could. So I'm leaning Tampa. I actually don't know if I'm going to bet them at that price. I do like the over, though. I think an elimination game, especially if somebody goes up early, I think it's going to open up, especially if Tampa does. I think New York's going to try and open it up a little bit. And so I like that. And I could see it being 2-2 at the end of 3 and going for the 5, and at least you get your push. 5.5, like maybe Vito said or Alex, I would probably bet the under. But I am leaning Tampa. I do like your third period over. Vasilevsky is just too good, and maybe his luck runs out too. You don't know. It's so hard. This series is a lot closer than it's living up to be one hell of a series, and I think it could go 7, and I could see that. So my initial lean is Tampa, but hell, it's tough.
It is tough. I'll tell you what I will be looking at. We don't have player props fully posted yet for the game tomorrow. Some books have some props for the player props tomorrow night. Some don't yet. But I guarantee you, I will be having actually a sizable. Usually my prop bets are smaller. I will have a sizable prop bet on Andre Palat again for Tampa Bay. He has scored 5 goals in the last 6 games. He scored at least 1 point in every home playoff game this year for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And you can still get him around -125, just to get a point. -125. Think about that. What a bargain that is. Andre Palat to score a point. The last home game, it was around that, -120. It's probably maybe going to be around that same price again tomorrow night. I mean, that's just an automatic for me. He's gotten a point in every home playoff game. You could go with the goal prop as well, because he's starting to find the back of the net now. 5 goals in the last 6 playoff games overall for Andre Palat. I know Ray Bryce is going to have like some lottery ticket 6 player goal scorer parlay going.
I like Corey Perry. He's due. He's due. He was hot. He's going to find it again. I'm picking him too. He's got to score for me.
So there you go. Perry and Palat are probably going to be 2 of the players in that goal scorer parlay.
2 of 10.
Yeah, 10.
No, I don't know.
You don't want to stop at 4 or 6. You're going for 10 this time.
No, yeah. We'll see if we can get. Then you have to bet the over. I can't hedge myself with that. So.
Yeah, you got to scale it down, my friend, in a game like this where goals could be few and far between, maybe 2, 3, 4 at the most in terms of.
Yeah, I'll honestly probably just bet Perry and Palat separate. I probably won't even parlay them.
At one book offshore, I'm seeing Palat plus 225, and I'm seeing Perry at.
He's got to be 300 at least.
Plus 275 for a goal.
Wow.
300.
And I think I saw like plus. I think I saw plus 150 for a point. So.
Yeah. Parlay those together. That's a nice little payday. That's a nice chunk of change if it ends up cashing in. No question. But yeah, Perry as well. Perry had a million chances again last night. You got to think at some point the puck's going to end up getting in, finding a way in for him. But Stamkos, Kucherov are playing good. Can't argue with that. For the Rangers, I'd stick, if I were to take Ranger props tomorrow night, they've done zip 5-on-5 for the most part, other than Lindgren's goal. So I would look at it as a situation where focus more on power play props for the New York Rangers, because that's where they've been scoring, and you get better prices with New York Rangers players for power play props. So we'll get into that more tomorrow on the show. Again, we will have a show at noon Eastern tomorrow, Vito and I, on the Saturday show, and we'll just give our final picks and thoughts and more props, of course, once all books will have props by tomorrow's show. And we'll also have lineups as well, hopefully, a little more finalized. I hope Gerard Gallant goes back to Revo. Ryan Reeves. I mean, I know Ryan Reeves took a bad penalty in the game 4, and maybe that's why he was a healthy scratch. Gallant didn't like the penalty he took, but he's still a physical element. Ray was talking about it. Rangers going to knock someone on their fucking ass on their keister, and they didn't do enough of that last night, and Ryan Reeves can help you do that. So I think Gerard Gallant Turk is going to go back to Ryan Reeves and put him back in the lineup for Game 6 tomorrow night, especially with the shenanigans at the end of the game where you had that little mini line brawl. It was more of a scrum, and then you had Lafreniere and Stamkos dropping the gloves at the end. Yeah, I could see Ryan Reeves getting his spot back in the lineup tomorrow night.
And Kucherov started that everything. I think Kucherov was the initiator. But about Reeves, actually, what I liked, he still led the team to the ice that game. You know, I think he does something like that intro, you know, for the Rangers team, and they go out from the locker room, and he was without the equipment, you know, still there. Screaming, you know, and leading team out. So it's very nice to see from him, you know, that means the team has the spirit, you know. Well, yeah, that's how that's why they are where they are, you know, hard work, team spirit. And I mean, we didn't expect, you know, Rangers actually to see there the whole season. You know, they were underperforming in expected goals, underperforming in Corsi, underperforming in most of the stats. You know, it was all Igor, but you see, that's hockey. That's why we watch this game, because it's hard to predict this game, you know.
Yep, that's right. And as Ray said on the Betcast last night, he's going to be working on his own Corsi next season, you know, just shooting the puck from anywhere, right? That's your game plan in Kalamazoo next year, right?
Yeah, you just got to fire the puck on net. Anywhere inside the zone, your Corsi goes up 1.
Yeah. There you go. It's all about working on your numbers. There you go. Going into next year. Great analysis. Great show as always. Lots of fun. We hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button on the way out. Vito and I are on tomorrow, noon Eastern. So we'll get best bets from Alex and from Ray on the show today. And Vito and I will save ours for tomorrow on the show. But DraftKings Sportsbook, before we get there, as always, new customers bet just $1 on any NHL team, get $150 in free bets if they win. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Hockey Contests. DraftKings giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN, bet just $1 on any NHL team, get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Must be 21 years of age or older, must reside in a DraftKings Sportsbook state or province. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the DraftKings app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN. All right, best bets to wrap it up here for this Friday edition from Alex and Ray. We'll get best bets from them. Alex, we'll start with you. Best bet for Saturday.
Yeah, I'll give you a 2-for-1 special here. Tonight in the AHL, the Chicago Wolves have a 3-0 lead in the Western Conference Final. They're going for a sweep, and they've won 9 of their last 10 games so far this postseason. I got them plus 113 offshore. So that's what I'm rooting for that, obviously, as a fan, but also I think that's a great spot for them. They've just been dominant against the Stockton Heat team that was actually looking pretty good up until this final series. And then tomorrow, we're laying 1.5 with the Tampa Bay Lightning. You get plus 155 or plus 160. Shop around for that. Like I said, Tampa is just absolutely stellar when they're closing out games. They've got all the momentum in the world right now. Vasilevsky, like you said, his numbers are just phenomenal in these situations. So the Lightning take care of business at home by margin. Laying the 1.5 is my best bet for tomorrow.
All right, there it is. Tampa Bay minus 1.5 puck line for the Lightning to close it out in the Eastern Conference Final tomorrow night. Plus 150 for a best bet for Alex B. Smith for Saturday's Game 6. And how about a little bonus pick there? Chicago Wolves as well against the Stockton Heat. Definitely looking toward them there in that game. The Wolves, by the way, plus 107, small plus price, pretty good money line price. I'm going to be Homer and also give you a little, it's not a bet that I've got much on. It's a small, tiny bet, and it's not even great value, but Hamilton Bulldogs are minus 220, 225 against Windsor tonight. Game 4 OHL Championship Series, Ontario Hockey League. Hamilton's got to have this game. You can't go down 3-1 in this series. They've been good off a loss. They're another one of those teams. You bet them off a loss, you do very well. They lost Game 3 in Windsor on Monday night. They had some injuries going into Monday night's game, especially on the blue line. They're hoping to get Kammerer back on who's an important player for them. I expect better games from everyone else. It's still a loaded hockey team. Mason McTavish, Arbor Jackeye is going to have a terrific career at the next level. A great defenseman. Don't take the money line, though. It's minus 220. I mean, it's absolutely no value with that on Hamilton. You got to pay a premium for this team. But the minus 1.5 puck line is plus 110. And usually when they lose the previous game, they come back and not only win the game, they drill the team. And Windsor's a really good team. Maybe they don't, but I think the minus 1.5 plus 110 might be worth a look there for Hamilton against Windsor. Game 4 tonight of that OHL Championship Series. So there you go. There's my bonus non-NHL hockey pick tonight. All right, Ray, Game 6 Eastern Conference Final. Best bet. What do you like?
Okay, so I just found a Tampa Bay, New York three-way money line for Tampa at minus 110.
Wow.
So I might be taking that. That's including no OT, obviously. You're going to need the tie there as well. So the tie, or not going to need, but the tie will also be there. So, but I am going to take, I think if they're going to close out, they're going to close out no OT and finish them off at minus 110. So I'll be betting that.
There you go. Tampa Bay Lightning in regulation there, minus 110 against the New York Rangers for Ray Bryce and his best bet. And I'm sure he's going to have a couple of goal scorer parlays. I think he's going to probably like Perry and Palat, the two double Ps there for tomorrow. So should be interesting to see how Game 6 plays out. Vito and I will be on tomorrow, noon Eastern. It'll be a short show. We'll just come on, final thoughts on Game 6. We'll get the lineups. We'll know who's going to be in. We should have an idea if the Rangers in particular are going to make changes. You got to think Tampa Bay is going to keep the same lineup intact. They've won 3 in a row. Why change a winning formula? But the Rangers might make some changes. We'll see if that's the case. We should know what their lineup going into Game 6 is going to look like by the time we do that show tomorrow. So Vito and I will be with you at noon Eastern for the Saturday show. We appreciate everyone joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. Thanks to everyone for joining us. For Alex B. Smith, Vito making a special Friday appearance, and Ray Bryce joining us again as always. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we will talk to you again tomorrow on Saturday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.
Oh.